I've eaten nothing but meat for 100 days, and it's been epic. Now, short of religion and politics, diet and nutrition is probably one of the most controversial topics on the internet, so I fully expect a few vegans to come and be angry at me, and that's okay. The carnivore diet has gained a lot of popularity in the last 5 years or so, and before that, keto was a big thing, and they're both pretty related. I've been doing keto on and off since, I think, 2017, and I've used it plenty of times to lose weight, and eventually I would get lazy and regain the weight and go keto and lose it again. So that's been the cycle, but I've maintained my weight that way, and I know keto is effective for me in losing weight, but I decided, let's go all the way. Let's fully try carnivore. And thanks to many influential people on the internet, like Dr. Barry and Dr. Chafee, I've really been inspired and learned a lot about carnivore, about nutrition, and been kind of an obsession of mine for the last few months. So I'm here to share my experience and hope you enjoy it. I've also recorded some clips along the way to try to keep sort of a diary. I made a list of health improvements that I would like to see from this, kind of a wish list, and we'll see how much of that came true. We can talk about weight loss and all the other various effects and benefits I've seen as a carnivore and why I'm going to continue going forward. And in fact, I'm starting a second channel officially called Meat Based, where I'm going to continue to talk about the carnivore diet because I think it's really important and I want to share it with you. And I don't want to flood this channel with meat rants all the time. So I encourage you to check out the link in the description and go subscribe over there if you want to hear me talk about meat and not just guitars, because this is a music channel. I'm going to keep it that way. But I also want to talk about meat because I love meat. I've tried a lot of diets over the years. For most of my life, been on a standard American diet, but I also have done vegetarianism for 5 years, including a brief stint with raw veganism, with fruitarianism specifically, where I was only eating fruits and nuts for a couple months, and I lost a lot of weight when I was a teenager. I didn't really feel great. I felt okay largely, but after a few months, I was getting kind of sick feeling, so I quit that. But hey, it was a good way to lose weight, even though it was an all-carb diet, but I had very few calories, and even though all I was eating was carbs, my total carb count for the day was really not that bad because I didn't eat that much food at all, and I didn't really want to eat that much. So I've done raw veganism, I've done non-raw veganism, I was vegetarian for 5 years, I was a pescatarian for a year, and I've done keto on and off since 2017, so several month stints of being keto and also integrating a lot of intermittent fasting, multi-day fasts. So I've tried a lot of different diets, and for me, carnivore has been by far the most fun, the most enjoyable, the one that I want to keep doing. Even though I liked doing keto, I had good results with it, and I generally felt good. It was harder to do, even though it's less strict than carnivore. Because it's less strict, I felt like there was more room for temptation. It was just mentally more difficult. Whereas carnivore has been really easy. I just eat meat. I don't worry about what I'm eating. I don't worry about counting carbs. I just eat meat and eggs and dairy, and it's fantastic. And so this is the one I'm going to be sticking with. I can't say that I'll be a strict carnivore for the rest of my life yet because it's only been 100 days, but I intend to. That's what I want to do. Maybe I won't be quite as strict all the time forever, but I know that I feel so much better doing this. I just can't imagine doing anything else. I can't imagine going back to a standard American diet. I know I would just gain weight and feel tired and feel sad, and it's not good. Now, if you've never heard of the carnivore diet, it is obviously meat only, but it does include things like dairy and eggs. There are varying levels of strictness, all the way from ruminant meat only and no spices up to pretty flexible approach with spices, and then you can have a animal-based keto diet where you even include some limited amounts of vegetables and maybe even fruit. For me, I have stuck to a pretty strict carnivore diet. Now, I haven't been 100% strict all the time, but pretty close to it. For the first 60 days or so, I was drinking coffee. That's a plant. I use some spices, though I've kind of cut them out as time has gone on. But if I get any sort of processed meat, or I have meat that someone else has prepared and there's some spices there, it's not the end of the world to me. I did try a few weeks of the Lion diet, which is just beef and salt only. And I did enjoy that, though it is difficult. And I didn't see any massive improvements. It was only 2 weeks, but it didn't seem like night and day to me. So I may try that again in the future. But for now, I feel like my body tolerates a certain amount of impurity with no ill effects. For me, at least, pork doesn't seem to bother me. Chicken doesn't bother me. I eat lots of eggs. I have fish. So I like to have the variety, and I still see great health improvements. For some people with some conditions, they may need to be stricter, but thankfully for me, I don't have a whole lot of chronic conditions that I need to address with that kind of diet. Now, for most people, carnivore is more of a lifestyle change. It's adopting a new way of eating and not just a short-term way to lose weight. I have so many benefits of being carnivore beyond weight loss, and I really haven't even lost that much weight doing this, but I'm absolutely going to continue, and I feel like losing weight at a slower, healthier pace and doing something sustainable is really great if that's your goal. And if you're not trying to lose weight, there are so many other benefits as well. There are plenty of people who don't want to lose weight, or maybe even want to gain weight, but want to be carnivore for all the health benefits. It's really a good way of eating for everyone, because we're human beings, and human beings are carnivores. But because I know that's something that a lot of people are curious about, let's talk about weight loss. Now, I didn't start right away with carnivore. I went with kind of a normal keto diet, which I have done many times over the years, and that was just an easier way to transition into it. That included other things like vegetables and nuts and some artificial sweeteners even. After a couple weeks of that, I experimented with a pescatarian carnivore diet, which was just a fun thing to try. And I did that for another month or so. And I lost a lot of weight during that time before I officially started this 100 days of carnivore. So I had 50 days before that of keto and fish-based carnivore, which was very low calorie as well, simply because it's expensive and hard to get enough calories from fish. So my start weight before anything was 238.5 pounds. I didn't take a waist measurement right at the start, but the earliest one I have, I was at 49 inches around the navel. Today, I'm down to 46.5. So that's 2.5 inches off my waist, probably more like 3 or 3.5 total from my start, but I don't have an exact number on that. My start weight after doing my 50 days of keto was 219.5 pounds. So right there is 19 pounds of weight loss in 50 days. That was pretty good. I was quite happy with that. My final weight after 100 days is 211.5 pounds. So I've lost 8 pounds in 100 days. That's not very fast. And my weight's kind of gone up and down during that time just by a few pounds. Weight loss has been quite slow. 8 pounds over 100 days is not that much. That's like 2.5 pounds a month. However, I'm not unhappy with that number. Much as it might be nice to lose weight faster, I'm a lot closer to my goal, and I feel great while I'm doing it. And I don't feel weak, and I don't feel tired, and I'm eating a lot of food, and I have a lot of energy. I'm not starving myself. I'm not torturing myself. And I'm still losing weight. So that's fantastic. I really can't complain with that. It's not a race, and some people, especially if they have a lot of weight to lose, it may be way quicker. If you're 400 pounds, you could maybe lose 50 pounds in a month. I don't think I physically could lose 50 pounds in a month, even if I stopped eating. But for some people, that kind of thing is possible. But don't get discouraged if it doesn't look like that for you. And for me, as long as it's on a downward trend and I feel good, I feel healthy, I feel strong and energetic, then I'm not so worried about weight loss. And I only have maybe 20 or 30 pounds that I'd like to lose at this point. So if that takes a year, that doesn't really matter to me. That's fine. Now, as a YouTuber, I film a lot of videos with this same lighting and camera angle setup. So let's take a look at some photos of my face over the last few months. And I thought this was fun just to see some progress. And since I have the same lighting and camera setup, it's a pretty fair comparison. So here's a few photos over the last few months of my face with my weight, so you can see some of the progress there. Another nice improvement has been my skin. Now, I've been fortunate to always have relatively clear skin. I've never had bad acne, but like everyone else, I've got pimples and zits here and there. I don't think I've had any pimples in 100 days, and that's great. I feel like my skin looks better, looks healthier. I notice the difference. It's smoother, and I've got that carnivore glow. So early on, I decided to make a list of just everything that I would like to improve about my health. Now, thankfully, I've never had a ton of serious health problems. I've been fortunate in that way, but I have always had some headaches throughout my life, pretty frequent tension headaches, maybe once a week, sometimes twice a week. They would just sort of come on randomly and usually stick around until I took ibuprofen or something. And that is not good for you. Painkillers, even over-the-counter ones like that, they're not good for the heart and stuff. So, and obviously headaches are not fun to deal with. Now, they were never crippling. They were never migraines. I would usually just take a painkiller and go on with my day. But it was something that I can remember all the way back to my teenage years, and I've never had it go away until now. It took maybe a month or so into carnivore, but I think I've only had 2 headaches maybe, and I've actually just slept them off rather than taking any painkillers. So my headaches are gone. I haven't had one in quite a while, and I haven't even thought about it in a while. I had to go back and check some of my notes to even remember that that was a problem. Now, this is something that's plagued me my whole life, but it seems to be fixed. In terms of mental health, I feel like since I was a teenager, I've had kind of bouts of mild depression, nothing too severe, but just periods of feeling pretty low and not really wanting to do a whole lot, not really having the energy or the motivation to do a whole lot, along with the stress and anxiety that can come with that. I've never thought of myself as a particularly stressed or anxious person. I don't think I am. But when I was doing this for just a couple weeks, I noticed my stress levels it faded into nothing. And I've been so relaxed. I mean, just normal things that would stress me out, like just sitting in traffic on my way to work, daily activities at work, at home, keeping up with YouTube and friends and family and other responsibilities. Just none of that bothers me anymore. I'm just so relaxed. And when something does stress me out, I can feel it very acutely because it's unusual. So I can feel that, hey, I'm stressed right now. And I can then hopefully choose to relax, do something to relax rather than just this chronic stress that's kind of background noise you don't even notice because it's just always there. I've been pretty consistently just happy, like actually on the positive side of neutral, I would say, like actually happy, enjoying life day to day, just feeling good, feeling happy and positive all the time. I've always had mildly elevated blood pressure. I've never taken any medication for it, but throughout this process, I have seen it come down to within slightly high, but still normal and healthy levels. Mental clarity is another big thing people notice when going on a keto or carnivore diet. I've definitely noticed that every time I've done keto, I just feel sharper. I can think better, feel like I can think faster and clearer, and there's not any brain fog. And that's even more increased with carnivore. So I think that has a lot to do with the body being in ketosis. Well, that's the main driver of it. But that is a big benefit you see is just this mental clarity. And that goes along with elevated mood and stuff. It's just great. You know, you're happy and you feel smart and sharp and clear when you're thinking. And that's really good. Energy levels are another big one. I was often feeling tired the last year or so, just being tired at work, not chronically, excessively fatigued or anything too dramatic, but just feeling like I really want to take a nap, drinking a lot of coffee to stay awake, not performing my best because I just didn't have the energy for it. I felt tired all the time. Even if I got plenty of sleep, I would just feel tired, and I didn't know if I wasn't getting good enough sleep because I was usually getting generally enough hours of sleep. Sleep quality can have an impact on that, though I don't feel like my sleep quality has necessarily improved on Carnivore. In fact, sometimes I'm having worse sleep because I wake up during the night more often. But nonetheless, I have so much more energy that I don't feel like I need as much sleep. And if I don't get as much sleep, it's not a big deal. I don't feel like a zombie the next day. I feel fine, usually. I might be a little more tired in the morning. Usually by the afternoon, I feel perfectly normal. I've also been off coffee for the last month, maybe more, and I started drinking coffee at 15 or 16, and I got into a regular habit pretty quickly, and I've just always been a big coffee drinker. I don't know that I will never drink coffee again, but I wanted to give it a shot because I have so much extra energy now that I feel like I don't necessarily need the coffee, and I just want to see if maybe my energy will be more stable. Maybe I'll feel better without the coffee. And the first couple weeks were pretty rough. I'm not going to lie, it wasn't fun. I thought maybe just the first week would be bad, but it continued for like 3 weeks or so. Now I feel like I've overcome that, and I'm actually enjoying not having coffee and caffeine in my system right now. So I'm going to keep that up for a while. I love coffee. I don't necessarily want to give it up forever, but it's been an interesting experiment, and I don't think I necessarily need it in terms of caffeine anymore. In fact, it would be kind of nice to not be addicted to caffeine anymore and maybe have the occasional coffee as a treat. So what do I typically eat in a day? In the morning, I'll cook up a couple of eggs, usually, with whatever meat I have left over from cooking that week. Mainly, I cook beef and pork, and I try to grill outside on charcoal if I can, and otherwise, I've been enjoying doing chuck roasts. That's a cheap cut of beef. You can roast it in the oven. It's really easy. It doesn't take hardly any time to prep it. Throw it in the oven for a few hours, and you've got food for a week. And it's about $6 a pound currently for chuck roast. You can't go wrong with that. It's delicious, it's easy, and it's cheap. I'll make burgers with ground beef. That's an easy thing to do. Or mix up ground beef with eggs, cook that. I can make frittatas with eggs. I don't eat a whole lot of dairy because I'm trying to lose weight, so I don't tend to have a whole lot of cheese in my day, but I do love cheese, and so I'll have some. I'll use it as a condiment, mainly as a topping for things. Maybe throw some in with my eggs. Butter is good. I do add butter to things. That's always nice. When I was drinking coffee, I would use heavy cream, but since I'm not drinking coffee, I don't have a whole lot of cream in my diet anymore. I will eat fish occasionally because I think it's good and has some different nutrients that other animals don't. And I'll also eat chicken, though I don't go out of my way to get chicken. It's not the most valuable to me in terms of nutrition, and it's pretty lean usually. If I am going to get chicken, I'll get chicken thighs. And I like chicken. I just don't buy it a whole lot. I also really like going to the grocery store and looking for the manager's specials. They'll sell meat for half off because it's only good for another day or two, and I'll go home and cook it that day or freeze it. If you do that, you can save 50% off whatever meat you're buying. Sometimes there's other sales at grocery stores. If you pop in, check what's going on with the meat, you can get some good deals. And it doesn't take me very long to make a trip to the store because I just go in and look at the meat, see if there's any deals, see if there's anything that looks good, and buy something or just get some more eggs because I go through a lot of eggs. What about price and practicality? In both those areas, I think this is fantastic. In terms of practicality, I don't have to cook as often, and meal prep is really easy. I don't ever have to worry about side dishes. I don't have to prep a whole bunch of stuff. I just cook meat, and I usually cook a lot of meat all at once and just reheat it throughout the week. It's super simple. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to eat. Grocery shopping is really easy. I can check out the dairy, the eggs, the meat. That's it. It's summer right now, and I like to grill, so I've been enjoying grilling steaks, burgers. I try to grill once a week or so and make a lot of meat. And then I can just heat up in a pan or the microwave in the morning with some eggs. It's really easy. It's really efficient. There's not a whole lot of dishes or mess or anything. It's just very easy and practical, and I really enjoy that aspect of it. As far as price, I've also tracked my spending, and my total after 100 days, my daily spend has come out to an average of $7.95. I think that's within the budget for almost anyone. That's really not a whole lot of money. You go to a fast food restaurant, you'll spend more than that on a single meal. So that is pretty affordable. And I do eat steaks. I don't eat ribeyes for every meal every day. That would be a little more expensive if I did, but I have a nice variety of higher end, prime, New York strip or ribeye, as well as ground beef. Pork is very cheap. Chicken is cheap. I don't eat a whole lot of chicken. Eggs are really cheap. So you really don't have to break the bank as a carnivore. In fact, you can save money because I also don't spend money on vegetables, which frankly are useless and a waste of money. I've also done a couple videos about sobriety. I haven't drank alcohol for the last almost 2 years, so I didn't have to give that up at the same time. But a carnivore diet does not include plants. Alcohol is made from plants. There's no meat-based alcohol. Alcohol is not good for you. I know there are plenty of carnivores who do drink in moderation. That's their choice. Sure, coffee is technically not carnivore either. And I know not everyone's going to be super strict. But I think there's a lot of health risks associated with alcohol, far more than most people know. And it's really an important thing to give up. So I would really encourage anyone who wants to do a carnivore diet to also quit the booze. I know it's hard. I've been there. Ever since I gave up alcohol, my life has been better, healthier, happier. Even when my diet wasn't good, just giving up alcohol is a great thing. For me, once I got over some of the initial hurdles, it's been really easy and I haven't missed it. And it's been nice to not have that weight in my life. Something that is a distraction, it costs money, and it just hurts my health mentally and physically. So I really encourage you to check out those videos and think about giving sobriety a shot and not taking shots. Another big one is poop. Okay, we got to talk about it. When you start on a carnivore diet or even a keto diet, you'll often have very loose stools, explosively loose. Sorry, but there's no way around it. And that's a normal part of transitioning in your diet. And for me, it went on for a couple of months and now it seemed to settle down, which is great because for a while I had to run to the bathroom after every meal. It's like as soon as the food hit my stomach, it's almost like I could feel, and it was mostly liquid because when you're eating meat, your body digests everything. You don't have fiber. There's not a whole lot of solid waste, very little in fact, but you may have a lot of liquid waste. And I think this has mostly to do with bile. And perhaps in my case, my theory, based on limited research, is that it had to do with bile acid malabsorption. I don't know that for sure, but that kind of tracks with what I was experiencing. It's seemingly just gone away the last couple weeks, and I haven't had any issue, and I haven't felt the need to use the bathroom more than once every few days, which is great. I love that. And that's how I want to be. Another great benefit is no flatulence, no more farting. There's no carbs fermenting in my colon. I don't fart. It's amazing. Occasionally, a little bit, but it's like so minimal. And it's a funny thing to talk about. I'm sure we've all experienced going to a vegan restaurant or getting Mexican or Indian or some kind of cuisine with a lot of beans or lentils and you're farty afterwards. You just have a lot of gas. We've all been there. Sure. It's all those carbs. It's all the starches and fibers, sugars fermenting inside of you that causes all that gas. When you just eat meat, you don't have that. Farting is a choice. It's not a curse. It's not something that you have to do all the time. And it's so nice to not fart. One thing I've noticed is my body temperature is a lot higher because my metabolism is higher. Now, I've also done some extended multi-day fasts where I don't eat anything and my body temperature goes down. I'm cold. Or if I'm just on a very restrictive diet, I'm not eating a whole lot of food, I will also notice my body temperature going down and being cold. When I've been eating this way, I eat a lot of food. I eat essentially as much food as I want. Now, I only eat twice a day. I don't eat outside of that, so I have 2 meals. I'm strict about that. But at those meals, I'll eat as much as I want. I'll eat till I'm full, not trying to stuff myself. I'm also not trying to starve myself. So I have some diaries here that I've recorded along the way. Let's check out some of my thoughts then. It's carnivore day 1, but I've already been keto for the last 6-7 weeks and already lost 19 pounds doing that. The first month or so was kind of just regular keto, wasn't super clean, had some artificial sweeteners and, normal keto stuff. Wasn't too bad, but a little bit of, transitional foods. And then the last month I've been sort of a pescatarian carnivore, just eating a lot of shrimp, seafood, and eggs, and butter, and cheese. And that's about it. And I lost a lot more weight that way. I've also been doing just 2 meals a day, breakfast and dinner, no lunch, no snacks in between, very strict on that. And so I've definitely lost more weight the cleaner I've got. I definitely anticipate maybe gaining a few pounds initially, bring back in meat because I'm going to have a lot more calories because it's hard to get enough calories eating fish and shrimp. I'm on day 30 of carnivore, and I have not lost or gained a single pound. In fact, I'm within a half pound of my starting weight. Started this at 219.4. I'm 220 this morning. I've gone up as much as 4 pounds and then come down 4 pounds. I have not counted calories or tracked or measured my food at all. I've kind of been just eating as much meat as I want and as I can get, which sometimes is a lot of meat. I know for sure my calorie intake, though I'm not tracking it, has got to be double or more what I was eating before, and I haven't gained any weight. I feel more active. I feel like my body temperature is higher. Sometimes I've been a little bit, not quite sweaty, like dripping sweat or anything, but just kind of warm and hot. I haven't been doing a whole lot of exercise, but I do a little weight training. I'd like to kind of increase that. Pros so far, I've got better energy, generally better sleep. Sometimes I sleep less. I've got more interrupted sleep. I've got a lot more lighter sleep and a lot of dreams, but I haven't been tired. I've been much more energetic. I feel like my metabolism's pretty high because my body temperature is up, my energy levels are up. I've been naturally more active because I haven't been tired. I haven't been so lethargic, and so I'm less sedentary. I want to get up and move more and do more, even just walking around, standing. Just feel more energetic and more active, so I'm sitting less, moving and standing more. As far as cons, digestion-wise, I've had some kind of mild stomach issues like indigestion, burping. I had some kind of stomach pain for a week or two that I thought might be some kind of gastritis. That's kind of gone down. I don't know if that was just adapting to the meat, getting my stomach used to that. I think increasing stomach acid. I've used betaine HCl with pepsin for couple weeks, and that seems to help, but I'm also trying to kind of wean off of that. I used to get kind of semi-regular headaches, maybe once or twice a week. I've definitely had less. I've had a few headaches, but like yesterday I had a headache all day, didn't take any painkillers, woke up and it's gone. Now for me, sometimes headaches could last for a few days if I don't take any painkillers, but I know that taking ibuprofen and stuff is bad for your heart. It's just not something I like to do, so I've tried to avoid that. Had way less kind of anxiety. I just feel calm and not stressed out. So I feel happy. I feel relaxed, low anxiety. So that's great. I'm not a super anxious person, but there was time in the last year or two, plenty of time, where I was feeling kind of worn down and stressed out with work, with life, keeping up with everything. and I've been like super relaxed for a couple of months since I started doing keto, really. Just getting the blood sugars down and, you know, getting the ketones to the brain, I think really does a lot for anxiety. So you kind of realize how much anxiety you might have when you switch to that and see how much better you feel. So that's my little 30-day update. I forgot to do a 60-day update, so it's now day 85. And I'm getting pretty close to 100 days carnivore. Since the 30-day mark, I have lost almost another 10 pounds, about 8 pounds, and another inch off my waist. So while the weight loss is not as fast as perhaps I'd like, I also don't have that far to go. I have maybe another 20 or 30 pounds until I'm at what I think would be an ideal weight. We'll see. You know, I don't really have any fixed goal in mind, but I don't have that much more to lose, so it's not quite as quick as maybe if I had a lot of weight to lose. I did do 2 weeks on a strict lion diet, so that's only beef, salt, and water. And the hard part of that was giving up coffee, which I still have kept up since. I'm still off coffee. I am a little more tired sometimes, but I feel like my energy is at least more consistent. At this point, all of the little physical things I was hoping to improve, like joint pain or maybe improved skin or sleep or hormones, mood, all of that has pretty much occurred and will hopefully continue to get even better. But I feel like my skin has been extra healthy and doesn't feel dry. It's also been very clear. Hormonally, I feel good. I guess energy has been good. Digestion has improved since the initial transition into carnivore, which was a little rough for a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, but it's gotten better. I didn't have a lot of joint pain before, but my knees would sometimes bother me, and my knees feel great now, so I don't have any joint pain. That's great. That's hopefully a sign of low inflammation. I feel like less inflamed. I guess I didn't feel like I had a ton of inflammation before, but I definitely feel kind of lighter and just I feel good. I don't feel sore or tired or weighed down all the time. I don't feel like my body feels good. That's a great thing. I'll see you again soon for 100 days, and hopefully I'll have made a little bit more progress, but I'm feeling pretty great about this, so I'm certainly going to continue doing it after 100 days, and we'll continue to see benefits for as long as I continue being carnivore, which, who knows, maybe it'll be forever. I feel great about it, so I don't really want to go back to eating any other way. I hope you've enjoyed this, so please go on over and subscribe to my second channel, Meat Based. There's a link in the description as well as the end of this video, and thanks so much for watching. As always, like and subscribe, and you can come back here for more guitar content and head over to my Meat Based channel for some more carnivore content, which will be coming soon, if not out already.